people, no love, no justice, but war. Yeah, love the way we live it, treating one another unfair. Love the way we live it, treating one another unfair. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future. We have everything in abundance, but we die and rot to breathe. We pray as love for another Moses, cause all we have is Pharaoh. In our suffering, it's not making business. Yeah. The rich get richer, and the poor people suffer. Them promises, them bring development, and better education. Our lands are fertile, no food on the land. Our children, we're pushing it to back. The way we live it, we're treating one another unfair. The way we live it. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future. Our forefathers were taken into slavery, but in a morning time like this, where children and yeah, everybody on the hustle. Some people know like this. They want some trouble. Crime rates on the increase. The government can protect the people.
Good evening.
No justice, but a war.
Good evening, fellow Liberians. Let's keep sharing the live video. Sorry for coming out late. We had some official engagement that we want to respond to. But it's actually good to be back here. We are here to talk our talk, to provide some salient recommendations regarding the national issues. Lots of terrible things happening in our country, as well as good things happening in Liberia as well. We cannot turn our eyes down on them. It is important to always elevate, to speak about the ills in society. That is the job we choose, and we must live up to it.
Our forefathers were taken into slavery, but in a morning time like this, where children and slaves were fighting a war, not with guns and bullets. The enemies I see are my brothers.
A fallen Liberian musician,
While we're still living, no Joshua by his cover.
Quincy L. Burrow.
Whenever the sun shines, must come the rain. Who will come and take away the rain? Look the way we live it, we treating one another unfair.
Okay, folks. So good evening, Liberians. For those of you who are watching, keep sharing the live video. Whether you are watching from my Facebook page, whether you are watching from the YouTube channel, this is how I want to welcome you officially to the program Good Evening Liberia on Focal Online TV. Again, I want to register my apologies, my sincere apologies for coming out late. Normally, we start the program by 4 o'clock and we end the program by 6:30. But again, we have to respond to other station engagements, so we were not able to start the program in line with the prescribed time or in line with the regular time. So it's actually good to be back here. It's actually good to be back here to talk about some of those key issues that is happening into the political space of Liberia. Liberians, there have been multiple statements made by President Joseph Jomo Boakai, which of course Liberians have since been talking about. We were told light on that particular issue. We also talk about the fire disaster involving Montserrat County Senator Cy Hadi Joseph. And he is famously known in the Liberian politics as Ebola hero. We will also talk about that too, and we will provide some salient recommendations to how the government should invest more money into the Liberia National Fire Service so that we can have a decentralized firefighters or fire team across the Republic of Liberia, just to respond to some of those in some of those horrible situations at night. So many a times, one of the reasons why people find it very difficult to escape a particular danger is because we do not have a decentralized team of firefighters to help like for the entire Ghana's route, the entire Ghana's route. The only place you will see a sub fire service station is at the Stevie Turbot, and that shouldn't have been. But sometimes when we talk about these things, we actually need to get the legislature involved because there are other Liberians who believe that every other problems in Liberia has to do with the presidency. Every other problem we should be blaming the presidency about. Some Liberians who think differently. There are other Liberians who think differently that we shouldn't just be blaming the presidency, even though the president has one power that the legislature doesn't have. But at the same time, one of the problems, many of the problems we are actually confronted with as a nation, it starts on the Capitol Hill. Sometimes I listen to Representative Yeke Koluba, who has since been critical during the era of President George Weah, former President George Weah, and he has since started to speak out. And if you actually gauge the views of many Liberians over how Yeke Koluba speaks and how he speaks, some have, I know there are lots of controversial, conflicting opinions of people regarding on how Yeke Koluba speaks. But again, let's go over to I think the stories in within the front page Africa newspaper. They say, and what's the headline? They say Senator Hadi Joseph narrowly escapes death in home fire as victim resident blame fire service and LEC. You see, what are they blaming LEC? We would tell the story would tell us Montserrat County Senator Hadi Joseph escaped death early Thursday when his home in Congo Town was gutted by fire. He and other occupants of the house were left stranded as the fire engulfed the building. It took the interventions of his good neighbors to break in and save his lives. I woke up about around 1 this morning hearing people shouting, "Fire, fire," says Samuel Henrys, one of the rescuers. When we arrived, we heard cries for help coming from inside the house. We had to remove the window bar and rescue the senators and others. He was rushed to St. Joseph Catholic Hospital, where he is responding to treatment. James Harizo, a neighbor who is being celebrated for leading the mission to rescue Senator Joseph, speaking to Front Page Africa, said, "I came home and heard a lot of noise with people yelling and in confusion. I thought it was rogue, but Then I was told that Sir Joseph's house was burning. The gate was locked and all of the keys inside. We used rock to burst the lock and enter. Again, we were stranded inside, and the only way we could get out was through the window. Harris continued. Everyone said he is no more. He is dead. But I told myself that this guy is not just an ordinary person. He can't just die like that. I jumped into the window and started to forcibly put a band on the window bar. Everyone said it was lit because the fire had engulfed the house, that the man is finished. But when they saw the wall cracking from the window, they all joined me and we removed the window bar and pulled him and used my car to take him to the hospital. A police officer identified as McCarthy affirmed Henry's and Harry's narrative, stating that Senator Zadosa was extracted from the inferno in a distressed state and was immediately transported to St. Joseph Catholic Hospital. His colleague at the Liberian Senate hold did not hold a regular session on Thursday as Senate Pro Tempore Yombi Kanga Lawrence led them to sympathize with him. Front page Africa could not reach Senator Joseph, but later gathered that he had been discharged and was staying at a local hotel. Senator Joseph was not the only resident in Kangotan whose property were destroyed. A few blocks away up London Hill, Elvis A. Thames three-bedroom house was also burned. Thames said he woke up in the middle of the night and began to smell burned rubber. When he came out of the room to look, half of his clothes was in the flame. I walked through the fire cause using my hands to open the iron gate. As a welder, I know what parts of the doors can be easily opened, but in the heat, it was difficult. I did it all I could do to save myself and my siblings who were with me, said Tamal as he explained. So that is it. So that is very 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 tragic. That is very very tragic. A fire disaster affecting some Liberians, where it's such a very, very horrible, horrible situations. I mean, it is actually horrible because on this kind of tough economic situations in the country, and out of a sudden, all of your belongings, all of your belongings burn up into ashes. It is just very very disappointing and horrible and heartbreaking. But here is what I take over the last for so many years and days now. This issues about fire outbreak and different communities, specifically in Carwell. I think some part of last year, uh, prior before we could enter into the year of 2024, it was reported again that one of the infamous cases that Liberians people have been talking about, the late injured Toba parents, were caught up into the fire, and every one of them, with the exception of a little child who managed to maneuver his way out of the fire, he was the only one who actually survived that terrible situation. So, I mean, well, this is what I make about the fire situations in Liberia. It is about time that the lawmakers, the national government, needs to actually invest more money into the budgetary appropriations of the Liberia National Fire Service. The issues about fire outbreak does not have a specific person it is actually tackling or it is meant for. It can happen to you. Nobody thought that it was going to happen to Senator Sir Joseph. Had not been the interventions of God and other neighbors, especially the Henry guys, who has been, who is trying to provide his own side of the story, who is trying to, provide his own side of the narrative. But the entire Liberia, owing to the fact that Senator Sir Joseph is not an ordinary person, and this is with no disrespect to an ordinary person. This is with no disrespect to anybody who family, loved ones, relatives got involved into a tragic fire situations. Lots of Liberians have lost their life into fire situations. And this is why the government must pay more attention towards the procuring of those needful logistics which could empower the firefighters to go about handling those issues in our country. It is important. We need to have multiple fire stations. Even when two or three districts can have a sub fire station, that could be very, very important. And it should be strategically located where the fire service people are being fed with the necessary logistics. They should be fed with the necessary logistics. Like in District 18, if we have a fire incident, I think if you observe District 18, District 18 is bordered with several other communities. Talking about District 12, talking about District 12, talking about District 11, talking about District 10, and not District 10, but District 14. You understand? So if you have a sub station within District 18, it would definitely be able to provide assistance to not only District 18, but many other districts across Liberia. So apparently, the station that is in Monrovia, their head office that is in Monrovia, will not have the capacity at the time to frantically respond to a particular situations within the Bourgeois Island corridor. The substations yet in District 18 or wherever it may be located will definitely provide some relief to the people. And I think our lawmakers, Representative Edward Pape Flomo, and not only Representative Edward Pape Flomo, but just every other person should make it their responsibility. You understand? They should also make it their responsibility to be. This is where their far-sightedness supposed to come. This is why they need to be very, very far-sighted. Like a few years ago, District 18 had ambulances, and that was how Sir Joseph became popular, Senator Sir Joseph. The ambulance, or those ambulances, were not only benefiting residents of District 18. It benefited so many people, so many Liberians across the length and breadth of Liberia. The ambulance services, even though it was a lawmaker from District 18 at the time who was actually running, who had that particular ambulances, but he provided assistance to several other Liberians not within District 18. He went to District 10. He provided assistance to people residing in District 10. He went to District 12. He went to several other districts. And it was because of those ambulances he had at the time. That was how he got so famous. That was how people started to recognize his contribution, his stance against the pandemic at the time in Liberia. And this is why lawmakers should be doing. These are the kind of things lawmakers should be doing. This is where your farsightedness is supposed to be. Your responsibility of representing the people at the Capitol building should be a privilege. You should see that movement as a privilege. You should see that movement as a privilege. The reason of democracy is that everybody will not go at the Capitol building to go and be speaking on behalf of the area they live. And this is why the true essence of democracy calls for or gives the right to people to actually vote their leader. That is the true essence of democracy. I want to see a district try to lead by example. And since those two ambulances, or I think it was two or three ambulances I just had, and since all of them got broken down, we no longer see ambulances again in the district. Representative Edward Pape Flobo. The reason why I make an emphasis on Representative Edward Pape Flobo is because he considers Sir Joseph to be his political godfather. When you consider somebody to be your political godfather, I think you're supposed to be listening to some advice or pieces of advice from the person. One of the ways in which Sir Joseph got popular in Liberia was through the ambulance service. So if you consider Sir Joseph to be your political godfather, people will expect you to be doing extremely or something comparable to what Sir Joseph did. Where are the ambulances? District 13 was once known for having all of those things. Today, the district can no longer boast of any. For me, what I think is mostly important here is that one of the reasons why people elect their leader is for the leader to make a very bigger impact. Is there a way we can change the style of our politics in District 18 and Liberia at large? Do we want to be ditching out money to people? To what extent are you going to be consistently dishing out money to people? I'm not saying giving out money is actually a bad thing. But I think the issues about empowering the people through every form of means is mostly important. If you want to empower the people, there are lots of ways. Capacity building could be one of the medium through which you want to empower the people. Because if you actually educate the people, if the people are being capacitated, whether through the TVET sector, whether through the provisions of loan, whether through every other means possible, the people will 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 now see you as a game changer. The people will now see you as a game changer. But other than that, you are not making any meaningful impact. You just go and dish out money to people in the districts. And while we are blasting at the lawmakers for doing that, or while we are blasting at politicians for doing that, it is about time that the electors need to be well educated. You need to come to one realization or one determination as to how you want your country to move for the next 5 years on whoever is representing your district at the level of the national legislature. Sometimes the reason why people fail is because the electorates trade their political right, they trade their political franchise for little of nothing. When you allow yourself to be bought, probably for 10, 20, or $30, or whatever the amount may be, and you are not voting people on the basis of what they can do, but you are voting on the basis of what the person is able to afford to you at the point in time. And after the president has spent, used some of the money, the president will say, yeah, the president no longer feel entitled to you. The president feels that he or she has bought the position. The president, he or she has bought the way to being there. We have heard a lot of story, like in District 12. In 2017, former Representative BM Salmon, few years prior to the elections in District 12, he started presenting himself to be an alternative of the people, not knowing he had an ulterior motive under his sleeve. After several years of being with the people, pretentiously, when the people got to the realization that it was about time that they need to try Salmon. When Salmon got that, Salmon he deliberately abandoned the people. Not with the Salmon case. We have heard several stories of that. Because the electorates allow themselves to be utilized consistently by politicians. And when you put yourself in a position where politicians use you, if the person goes at the national legislature, they feel no longer entitled to the districts. Their mentality is that they will use money to get re-elected. But the political atmosphere in Liberia the things that some of us have seen or we are observing is that Liberians are becoming so wise. Liberians are becoming very, very wise. They are getting to a point of realizations that we need to put the interest of our country first. We saw that in the 2023 elections. Unity Party, when former President George Weah was campaigning, he was very, very sure. He was very, very confident that he was going to be re-elected. He never knew that the people engulfed him into a particular cave where they were consistently lying to him. He never knew. When you as a leader, whether you are a leader of a particular district, you are a leader of a particular ministry or agency or a particular group, it is always important that you need to make the voices of everybody. You need to listen to everybody speaking. I want to believe that they allow George Weah to be listening to a few people who consistently told him that, Mr. President, everything is okay. It was literally that he got to realize that all was not okay. It was literally he got to realize that the CDC we knew had an internal division. So, this is just to say, we are observing the political space of our country. The level of sycophancy we have started to observe. The level of sycophancy again. We have started to observe another form of sycophancy, another form of bootlicking. When was the last time people ever went to the Effort Baptist Church? When was the last time? When was the last time you had tons of Liberians trooping their way to the Effort Baptist Church? When was the last time? Today, there are lots of people who are going to the Effort Baptist Church today. Some of them are going there to have an opportunity to meet with the president. Why some of them They are only going there because President Joseph Human Baka is currently at the currently worship at the Ethel Baptist Church. Is that how it should be? Not really. Not really. Those were the same people. Those were some of the things that President Weah suffered with. He was actually encircled by a lot of people who didn't provide the best pieces of advice to him. Those people didn't provide the best pieces of advice for the president. And today, the president is actually regretting. The president is actually regretting. So let's just take a short break. When we come back, let's just take a short musical break. When we come back, we will let's take a short musical break.
Lump. Five friend let me. If you not want betrayer, five friend let me. Five friend let me. Five friend let me. If you not want betrayer, five friend let me. Bombe oh, five friend let me. Bombe jene oh, five friend let me. Bombe, five friend let me. Friend let me. Hey, see bestie, the bestie na sweet like my bestie. The bestie da la bestie. Fine friend let me. I say, see bestie, bestie wanting to wealthy. Fine friend let me. I hear them say they want me go, I say Some of them say they want me go, I say Some French la Some French la Some French la French la Hey, see bestie, your bestie not sweet like my bestie. The bestie da la bestie, fine friend let me. I say, see bestie wanting to wealthy. Fine friend let me. Okoro. They won't step on my blessing, but God get it breaking, yeah. They won't call it my blessing, but God get it breaking, yeah. Frenchie, see Frenchie, can't see Papa T Frenchie. And I want no back for Frenchie. And I want no wedding car Frenchie. Wangolo, Wango for bestie, Wango for daddy, Wangolo. I hear them say they want me go, I say I hear them say they want me go, I say Some French Some French Some French Hey, see bestie, the bestie na friend by my bestie. The bestie da la bestie, fine friend let me. I say, See bestie wanting to wealthy, want him alone, find a friend, let me.
Yeah. Christoph the King. I'm back on these egotistic politicians. I'm on my way now to reach it. See my dreams, all I see is diamonds and gold. But when I wake up, I see my people selling iron and coal. Ego, walking a country ya so. I thought they said I let country ya rich, but how come my people are poor? When the government steal our embezzlement, the government people are problem. They will be the J, the B, the K, the Lee, I hope I'm not in problem. When the government steal our embezzlement, the government people are problem. They will be the J, the B, the K, the Lee, I hope I'm not in problem. It's just the way that we live. My people still acting like graves. See, y'all need to change all that evil mentality. You won't receive him again. Let's change the way that we eat. Let's change the way that we think. See, I'm from the ghetto where kids not that wasted. If you can smoke, you can drink. I know you been to America, but I just came from Soweto. Cause that by easy, the living is hard, but we still survive in the ghetto. When the government steal that embezzlement, the government people are problem. I swear to God, who gonna solve them? I swear to God, who gonna solve them? When you get money, you owe in your brabby, you jack out to have on your product. I stand by the girls and the boys in the ghetto, the ones with no money to eat, man. They spend millions of dollars on guns, tuck your way our infrastructures and loved ones. 9 out of 11 with crumbs. Where I'm about to raise up my daughters and sons. We need to switch it up, people. The way that we living is evil. The way that we living is evil. The way that we living is evil. I'm on my way now to reach it. See my dreams, all I see is diamonds and gold. But when I wake up, I see my people selling iron and coal. Ego, walking a country ya so. I thought they said I let country ya rich, but how come my people are poor? When the government steal our embezzlement, the government people are problem. They will be the J, the B, the K, the Lee, I hope I'm not in problem. When the government steal our embezzlement, the government people are problem. They will be the J, the B, the K, the Lee, I hope I'm not in problem. I see no peace among all you politicians, but we got peace in the ghetto. All my people show me love. Yeah, we got love in the ghetto. The country too hard what to do. The Bobby because by what they can do. You send your boys in my who? Excuse me, I'm talking to you. See how much you spend on your coat and your glasses like you.
Okay, folks, welcome back again. Thank you for being with us. For those of you who are watching our live program, please share. This is the program Good Evening Liberia, a program where we talk about the various political issues taking place in our country, Liberia. My name is K. Lyndon Chokba, and it's good to be back here after entertaining a short musical break. So, a few days ago, President Joseph Duman Boakat, as well as Vice President Jeremiah Bankun, actually did something very amazing, very amazing to live up to their commitment. Uh, you know, the president in his first State of the Nations address, which was held on January 29th, made a commitment that he is very going to be, his administrations will be very robust against the issues about drug in Liberia. So he made a commitment to the Liberian people that his vice president and he and his vice president rather, they will definitely commit themselves um, to the testing, to conduct drug tests. So the drug test that was done on Vice President, on former Vice President, now President Joseph Duman Boakat, and Jeremiah Bankun, who happens to be the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, everything came negative. It actually came negative. So here is what we make. Nobody will want to politicize these issues about drug in Liberia. If anyone is politicizing the issues of a drug in Liberia, I don't think the person is actually a patriot, because a patriot is somebody who is willing to give every positive assistance to his country. Every positive assistance to his country. The reason why I say positive is because a patriot is somebody who will want to see his country flourish, somebody who loves their country. So, our brothers and sisters, particularly the youthful population, is being affected massively from the proliferations of illicit substances that is entering our country to the various transit point. Even though the Unity Party, when they were in opposition for the past 6 years, they utilized that particular drug issue somebody could say brainwash the Liberian people to vote this government out. But if you actually look into the case, void of political sentiment, you will get to realize that the issue is actually the real issue. Let's try to put politics aside and let's look at the real issue. The real issue here is that our brothers and sisters is being massively affected from these issues of a drug, especially the latest kind of drug called Cooch that has gone across our country. How many of you, especially those of you who live in the urban area, places like Kakata, places like Ganta, places like Sanikweli. I'm talking about the urban area because this is where you find the pervasive occurrences of those situations. How many of you will want to ignore the harsh realities on ground? How many of you will want to ignore the extent at which our brothers and sisters have been disgraced? If Liberia is to make any meaningful progress in the coming years, the youth of our country must play a very pivotal role. It will interest you to understand that based upon all of the information, you will get to realize that Liberia has a very youthful population. So if we as a nation, if we have a youthful population, it means that we can definitely achieve whatever we want to achieve. We can surely achieve that which, of course, we want to achieve. But again, when our brothers and sisters, who's supposed to be placed into different sector in the wake of driving our country from one position to another, if they are going wayward in a society, then any sound person will come to the realization that we do not have a better chances of taking Liberia to where we want to see Liberia. We need to change our kaleidoscope, the way we see things. Politics is good. That could be your right. Because sometimes when you try to argue with other people, they say, it is my right. It is your right. It is your right to choose which political institution you belong to. It is your right to choose your religion. It is your right to choose how you want to live your life. But equally so, you should get in mind, whatever your choices or whatever choice you make, there is an effect. The effect could be positive, the effect could be negative. So but that is what I make about the drug issue. We do have a law. If Liberia as a nation, if those people who wear uniform were going to be actually living up to what we have on the book as laws that govern this particular country, then Liberia was going to be one of the most principled nations within within the West African region. One of the things that former President George Weah did, we had a drug law in Liberia. George Weah was able to elevate the status of the drug law, to repeal the drug law from a bailable offense to a non-bailable offense. But is that a perfect solution? Somehow, that could be another argument for the day, for another day. We have, Liberia as a nation have had several laws, have crafted several laws, but the full implementations of those laws have not been fulfilled, have not been executed. So the issues about upgrading the law from a bailable offense to a non-bailable offense, I think there need to be some measures put into place. Because if you look at Liberia, you will get to the realization that many of our brothers and sisters have been massively affected. So how do we want to reintegrate these people into our society? How can they contribute towards nation building? These and lot more should be the concern. For me, I don't have a problem with the laws we have on the book. But I am advocating I am championing. I am making a lot of noise for the kind of rehabilitation program we have. Because those rehabilitation programs will measure the performance, the impact. If you tackled the impoters, yeah, that could be an appreciable work to do. If you tackle the importer, that could drastically decline the number of illegal substances that is coming into our country. But what are the measures you are putting into place? What are the measures you are putting into place to address the issues on hand? What are the measures? Because lots of our brothers have gone wayward. Because if you want to say if you are saying that there is a need for us to reintegrate these people into the society, you must also be thinking in the directions about capacity building. Those people who are affected by these issues about drug needs to be reintegrated into the society. And how are they going to be reintegrated into the society? Are you going to reintegrate? Are you just going to place them into the society after they have gone through a process of refinery? They need to have a skill that they can rely on. And this is why we need to actually look at, even though there are some robust measures, there are some drastic measures that would be instituted to decline or to depreciate the level of drug coming into the country. Those are good efforts, but we should be mostly concerned about the rehabilitation process. We should be concerned. If the person is not interested in learning, I think the government is supposed to provide some subsidy that could further incentivize them on how to empower themselves. Should they be released to enter the society? Those are the kind of measures. Because if you just take the person to the rehabilitation center, and after you have the person is being detoxificated, you take the drugs out of the person. If the person does not have any source, then every other effort you make will totally be baseless. Every other effort you make, that effort will be totally baseless. So we actually need to do things. We need to do things differently. We actually need to do things differently. We actually need to do things differently. We actually need to do things differently. Okay, so we have talked about we have talked about that. We are talking about that. We should be by this time. We're supposed to be having our guests here. We are talking about that. Sekou Sharif supposed to be here, but now not the journalist, but Sekou Sharif. He used to be in the media before. He once a journalist is always a journalist. So let's take a short break. When we come back, let's take a short break.
MC Caro, MC Caro, MC Caro. Caro. MC Caro. Caro. Smart head. MC Caro. I know about it, don't ask me. I want now or there, don't ask me. And I know say it, don't ask me. And I yeah it's set, don't ask me. And I know about it, don't ask me. I want now or there, don't ask me. And I know say it, don't ask me. And I yeah it's set. My head, I just wanna my head, I don't wanna check my balance. My head, I just wanna my head, I don't wanna check my balance. I just want to do my thing and I have for CCP. He said Caro, I said Jack can see something. What they now they see me. The Brabilla wait for me. I only get 15 minutes. Let me play till the fire finish. Oh my God, I got big ball, I got good ball. Look at money not there, but I get love. Why you want? All the other niggas so back. Billy pump. I don't wanna hear no trash. Billy pump. Catch him, boy. See yourself. Catch him, boy. See yourself. Big up, Rustin in Liberia. In Liberia, Rustin in Liberia. And I know about it, don't ask me. I want now or there, don't ask me. And I know say it, don't ask me. And I yeah it's set, don't ask me. And I know about it, don't ask me. I want now or there, don't ask me. And I know say it, don't ask me. And I yeah it's set. My head, I just wanna my head, I don't wanna check my balance. My head, I just wanna my head, I don't wanna check my balance. Me I got money, my life stay. And I got time for people issue, yeah. I don't wanna be in the crowd, no. I don't have time, I don't wanna know who you are, no. I can eat pepper color. I don't want a problem, don't bring my pepper color. I can eat pepper color. I don't want no trouble, don't bring my pepper color. Yo, and I won't kill myself, and I won't kill myself. Y'all leave me, let me enjoy myself, let me enjoy myself. I said, and I won't kill myself, and I won't kill myself. Y'all leave me, let me enjoy myself, let me enjoy myself. I'll let him over, and I know about it, don't ask me. I want now or there, don't ask me. And I know say it, don't ask me. And I yeah it's set, don't ask me. And I know about it, don't ask me. I want now or there, don't ask me. And I know say it, don't ask me. And I yeah it's set. My head, I just wanna my head, I don't wanna check my balance. My head, I just wanna my head, I don't wanna check my balance. I just wanna I don't wanna check my balance. I just wanna
Smart head on the bed.
Exclusive beat.
Brabby, why you taking? Oh, man, picking anything. Okay, give my Brabby bottle water like drink. When I bottle water, I'm one of my big next day. Oh, Brabby. How can you know that you not know I put it? When you say NZ, you my alley exclusive. Love is sweet and sure I know. So I enjoy my life. Because anytime I can go. Love you and leave me, let me do me.
The other weekend, I will enjoy myself. The way they be in the star going, I will feel myself. My money, I'm finishing by moving from yourself.
So I hit the club.
People were dancing, but I choose to say upset because I went there for something. Then I saw the fan get what kayaking, I won't go and see. I say let me try my luck and see. Maybe she agree. And I cry I come to see someone who I let them holler. So I talk to myself, let it be your man. But I'm fair, you go be your man. You go be your man.
So I walk out the door, I say, "Fan girl, hello, what you doing?" She say, "Fan, what you drinking?" She say, "Shinta." I say, "Partner, I get a 10." She like, wow.
Nete, thank you. Baby, don't thank me, you deserve it. Oh, queen, that you deserve it. When you want some more, I provide it. So we start to talk. Conversation going deep and deeper. Putting thought to each chicken. Be like living sense in her brain. Anything I thought like, baby, let go now. She say, we going to my heart. She say, where Panavero? She say,
She agree from waiting down. Oh, we are now. I want operate. Choose I'm gonna blind little door. Me when I get it down. Oh,
when she talking for a jet, I thought I was a joke. When I go back there again, she thought I think and thing again. I won't force it. But when I force it, man, that rape that crime will go to jail. So I play my cool, I choose to leave it. When I go, I will show happy. I will go to PP, I will show happy. I thought that is a hero.
take brain and she go on and she call me on my phone. Oh, baby, I'm gonna send my mobile money no more. You send me money, I'm gonna call it pepper soup.
I'm gonna send it or I'm gonna send it. I say fair, I won't send it, but I choose to send it. So I thought I say text me the number, I will send it. Then I send it. More she call me, said to say thank you. I say let me call her to confirm it. Then I call, she said she receive it. Then she hold the phone for my ear. Jaleta. Then I call her back, she say, how I never back. Minute later she text me again. I'm gonna send her that look at.
All right, folks, welcome again. It's good to be back here. It's good to be back. It's good to be back here. So we just got word from our guest who should be here that he is not current to be here. So this is how we will just. So it's good to be back here. It's good to be back. This is how we will just end this broadcast because our guest is not around. This is not around. We will be back here on Monday to bring you the full happiness of what we want to be as of next week. We will be mostly engaged with most OB activity. We have been told by some sources we are still confirming that former President George Manuel Weah will be coming into the country by tomorrow. We will try to be there to keep the people updated because this year we want to be, while we're working towards having a frequency, we want to be mostly engaged in terms of having our presence felt at every strategic place in the country where our nations make the critical decisions. We are making every effort to be at the Capitol building. We are even making efforts to even be at the the executive mansions, and we are making every efforts to be at many places as possible. We are making efforts to have our correspondence in some of the counties. Everything is moving very very fine. Our management is doing a very fantastic job, and as a matter of fact, probably in March made, we will definitely be functioning as the full-fledged radio stations in the country where we will be there to elevate the voice of the voiceless. We will be there to we'll be there to serve the people of District 18 in Liberia as large. So my name is Ken Lindom. Talk by. Do have yourself a blessed day. Bye bye from my end. I see you when I see you again.